Welcome to the Fray Dogg Gaming Channel. I am your host, Fray Dogg, and today I am bringing you the first part in a three-part mini-series walkthrough, if you will, on the Division. This will revolve around the first three main missions that you will go through to unlock the three separate wings in your base of operations. The medical wing, the security wing, and the tech wing. You don't have to do them in any order. I recommend that you do the security wing first, because it grants you a 10% XP boost from that point forward. But this one is the medical wing, and I've discussed in another video that where the Division really shines is when you're playing with friends, but it is not impossible to play solo, and it's actually quite enjoyable at times to go through some of these missions solo. You end up getting some of them are a lot more difficult than others, and when you are able to get through one of these missions by yourself, you do feel a big sense of accomplishment, or at least I do, because I'm just an average gamer, and that's the perspective that I'm trying to bring. So we're gonna walk through this, we're gonna talk through this. I'm going to go through, what I'm thinking and how I'm playing as we go through, and hopefully you enjoy it and you like it and you subscribe. So right now I'm in the base of operations. I'm just checking everything out, making sure I'm stocked up, make sure I have all the side missions on my unlock through the mission board, and I'm going to head out to Madison Square Garden, which is pretty much right across the street. So you don't have to go too far. Bringing up the map, and as you can see, it's right there. So we're just gonna walk across the street, and we'll start the mission off. Now, when you do come on these missions, it does give you the option to go through matchmaking and find other people who are currently looking to do the same mission as you. You don't have to, but if you are looking to add a little help, they do make it very easy for you to do that, both at the missions themselves and through the safe houses. So you walk in, and the first batch of guys, they start coming down the escalator, and they're not too bad. The nice thing about this game is that on these encounters, the enemies scale based on the number of, or at least my experience has been that the enemies seem to scale in difficulty based on your current level, as well as the number of people in your party. If you have multiple people, there's more enemies in each encounter, and they're tougher. I've run this mission a couple times with a couple different characters. This time it's just running solo, pretty low level. I think my character might be 4, maybe even 3, I'm not sure. But I've run it with 2 to 3 other people, and some of these guys are a lot more difficult. They're a lot smarter. The enemy AI tends to flank you more. The more people you have, they try and spread it out. I mean, they will flank you if you're just playing by yourself, but they seem to be a lot smarter when there's more people involved. So we're just looking around right now. The game's really good about telling you where you're supposed to go next. It's always got a little orange marker kind of guiding you, especially on these missions. You get the same thing in the open world, but only after you set waypoints. Otherwise, you can just wander around and do your own thing. But there's all sorts of little, chests and backpacks and whatnot to open through these things. So constantly be looking around and check your surroundings, because you could miss some goodies. And the game's also really good about, and you'll see these things on your mini-map, so they'll pop up. But the game's also really good about providing you with restock crates all over the place, so you're not constantly running out of ammo or grenades or whatnot. You will find in some of the more prolonged firefights that you will run low on certain types of ammo. You just have to be aware of that and swap out your weapons. I like to occasionally swap out to my sidearm because you do have infinite ammo for your sidearm. So once I get down to like 1 or 2 enemies in a certain conflict or instance, I might swap out to my sidearm, take those guys out, or I may initiate an instance or an encounter with my sidearm to preserve some more of my assault rifle or SMG ammo until the main bulk of the enemy force comes in. But here you're seeing there's throwing out grenades, keeping me on the move. You really want to stay in cover as much as possible. A lot of these levels and boards, they will have a sniper in an Overwatch type position, and if you keep poking your head out, you will get tagged. And they do a lot of damage. They'll take you right down to near dud if they pop you in the head. As you can see, though, it is fairly easy to roll out of the way and to stay in cover. Sometimes it gets a little goofy and I back out by accident. I don't really mean to, but it happens. But it's pretty easy to get right back into cover. Other times I find myself jumping over the barriers or whatnot when I don't mean to, and but you get used to it and you make do. The game's really good, especially on these larger missions. If you die during the mission, it doesn't start you back at the very, very beginning. Usually it's at the last major checkpoint. So in this particular game, if I were to die here, it would just start me back pretty much at the last restock crate where you saw me fill up. And as you progress through the level, it will restart you there. As you can see, when you start taking damage, your screen will light up, and it's best not to charge ahead into these big rooms because they will outflank you very quickly. So I tend to stay near the back. You play different if you're playing with a group, right? If you have guys behind you that can provide cover fire, then it's easier to push the room a little bit and go on the attack. In this particular case, I've played this mission a couple times. This is one of the missions that was open in the beta, so I had played it probably 5 or 6 times in the beta. You can go back and play it again on the next difficulty level up if you want. And so I know how this particular instance plays, and I got killed a number of times playing it in the beta. So I know to stay back, especially when I'm by myself. Let them come to me, and take them out one at a time, pick them off, and then once you clear it out, you can move on to the next piece of the mission. So that's what we're doing right now. The whole point of this mission is to bring back a virologist, and she is going to open up the medical wing in your base of operations, and it will allow you access to skill trees and opening up different parts of that wing. And each part of that wing will allow you to, it will grant you specific perks, abilities, and bonuses. The abilities, and I think they're called talents actually, those you have to assign. They're not, they're not on all the time, but the bonuses are. So once you unlock a certain bonus, you get it all the time. That's why I recommend going the security wing first, because the first thing you get is a 10% XP boost on all your actions. So it makes sense to do that one first because you get the bonus XP for the rest of the game. So right now we're running into this room where they're keeping the doctor held hostage. I'm going through my inventory real quick to see, I might change up my skills. And this is the nice part about this game, is that it does allow you to switch up your skills on the fly. I don't believe they've spotted me yet because I am in cover and I did just sneak in. So I don't have to worry about getting shot up while I'm switching those skills. Now I wouldn't do it because they're pretty much aware that I'm here. You know, so I'm going to try and pick these guys off. There's a lot of them. They run around back and forth, and they'll spam you with grenades, and they'll try and suppress you. They're not super brilliant at this point, but they're smart enough to come at you from different angles. So getting back to what I was saying about the medical wing is each one of these first missions, you're tasked with bringing back a particular person who will open up that wing and allow you access. You know, and you build out your base of operations that way. And this particular one is a virologist, like I said. And, you know, she's being held captive here in Madison Square Garden, so we're attempting to save her and pull her out. And she's actually being held captive in this room. So once we clear these guys out, we're going to get bum rushed again by a couple more waves of guys. And then we're going to have to go up to the rooftop and fight our way out. And typically, you know, these missions have a boss, if you will. And the way that the Division does their bosses are, those are characters that actually have names, or nicknames, really. You know, like, some of them actually do have real names, but most of them are kind of silly nicknames or whatever. And but you'll notice that, you know, you have your different classes of enemies. You'll have your berserker / brawler guys who'll just run at you with baseball bats or riot shields and axes, and then you'll have, you know, the guys running around with pistols or SMGs or assault rifles. And then you'll have some snipers, some guys that'll lay down cover fire with machine guns. None of those guys have names. So once you see a guy with a name, you know he's going to be he's the big baddie that you're gunning for. So each of these levels typically has one of those at the end. You know, they're typically a lot harder. They're a lot more armored up. But if you know how to play them, they're not too bad. You will encounter some random named enemies in the open world. You just have to be really careful because sometimes you stumble on them by accident, and they can really ruin your day if you're not expecting them. So right now I'm just running around grabbing all the loot. I think we've pretty much cleared out everyone that's coming through here. So now we're just gonna head up to the rooftop. We're gonna run up. I'm gonna check my inventory real quick, make sure that I don't have anything. I haven't picked up anything that I should equip. You know, because you do pick up a lot of gear, and I tend to break it down as I go because your inventory slots are precious. So I like to break it down. I don't really sell my equipment because you pick up so much. I tend not to buy a whole lot unless it's a huge boost to whatever I'm looking at, whether it be armor or firepower or whatever. So I tend to break everything down, and I don't really craft much. I'm kind of waiting until later in the game to craft the higher end items. So right now I'm just collecting the resources. So we're up on the catwalk in Madison Square Garden. Just going to collect a couple of crates that I know they're there, and then I'm going to head up top. We're going to face the last wave of bad guys and the head bad guy. I forget what his name is, but I'm pretty sure that this guy has a machine gun. You know, some of them will be a sniper rifle, some of them will have, you know, a shotgun or whatever. And all these baddies typically drop at least a couple of greens and a blue. You know, the gear, you know, starts off as gray, which is basically standard or worn, and then it goes green, blue, purple, orange, I think. I haven't got anything past blue yet, so I'm not quite sure what the next couple of steps are. I think one of them is purple, one's orange, but haven't quite got there yet. So we're plugging away. We're heading up to the rooftop. There's one more supply crate where we're going to restock, and then we're going to get right into this final battle. So as you saw in the previous couple of battles, I tend to hang back, let them come to me, and do that. This is a big rooftop, and if you get too far out there, they will flank you. There's a lot of places to hide, to duck behind. So if you are playing this with your friends, it does allow you to flank and to push. But playing solo, I tend to stay back, let them come to me. So that's what I'm doing here. Taking them out one at a time. Pick them off. They'll keep coming from the opposite side of the map, and your interface there will alert you when there are incoming waves of enemies. So right now we're just picking them off from a distance. Once we get the numbers dwindled down, we'll move up and engage a little bit more. But for right now, I'm perfectly content staying back here, doing what I do, and picking these guys off one at a time. Especially when you're playing solo, when these waves of enemies come in, a lot of times they'll be spearheaded by a couple of berserkers. So if you do push too far, the next thing you know is you've got a couple of berserkers on you, and you're being suppressed by gunfire from the others, and you're taking baseball bats or axes to the skull, and that's no fun for anyone, because without anyone to revive you, as soon as you go down, that's it. If you can hit your med pack or your heal ability in time, awesome. But chances are you're going to be downed and have to go back to the last checkpoint. The loot that drops will be there when you get back, so that's kind of nice. But you still have your enemies to contend with. So I think we're getting the numbers down now, and I'm probably going to start pushing here momentarily. The grenades are nice. The grenade system's a little goofy. You have to push left on your D-pad and then rotate the stick around to select which type of grenade you want, and then let it go, and it'll swap to that type of grenade. Then you just have to tap the left button to select your grenade, aim it, and then I believe right trigger will throw it. So that system's a little goofy as far as the game controls go. It takes a little getting used to, and I still find myself fumbling through it from time to time, but it's not enough to make me highly irritated. Sometimes if I'm playing solo it does, but by and large it's not enough of a factor for me to get wrapped around the axle. So just be aware that those controls are a little they're a little goofy. I am going to try and map that to the paddles on my Elite controller. I'm not sure if that's going to work yet or not. I'm still relatively new to the Elite, so I'm still trying to figure that all out. But so right now, we've taken them down. We're just collecting our loot, running around, grabbing stuff, restocking, and then we're gonna head back to the base of operations and see how that unlocked medical wing looks. As you can see, I am running around here. It is a big map, so you can get lost up here if you're playing by yourself and you just are gung ho and wanna charge in. So good luck to you. I don't recommend it, but if that's your play style, so be it. I tend to play a little more conservative when I'm by myself, but that's just me. So now we're exiting MSG. So you gotta go down a couple of, you gotta rappel down. I don't know if it's an elevator shaft or what, but I believe it is, yeah. So just gotta run through here. And these maps are really really nice. They're very, very detailed. They're very large, and there's a lot of places to explore. It gives you a lot of different options on how you're going to complete the mission. It is kind of linear, but the maps are so big that the repeated playthroughs tend to play out differently each time because the enemies take different routes. You might take a different route. So here we are entering our base of operations. You'll see that all of the different wings are currently offline. We're going to go in. We're going to talk to Dr. Candle. She's going to unlock the medical wing, and then it's going to give us access to a couple different upgrades.
Well, look who it is.
So she comes in. She's, I don't know. The characters, they really have different and unique personalities. I'm not really a big fan of Dr. Candle. She kind of seems like a bitch to me, but we don't really know her whole backstory, so maybe she's not as much of a bitch as I think she is, but
what matters is beating this thing, but I can't do that without knowing more about it. Here's a good place to start.
And she's gonna send you on other missions as the game progresses and as you unlock new areas of the map, and she'll occasionally talk to you through your headset, but by and large your interactions with her will pretty much be here in the base of operations.
And we need to talk about live samples and antibodies. You're gonna be busy.
So once you go through the cinematics, it's going to unlock a laptop, which will allow you to unlock different parts of the medical wing. So we're about to do that here, and each wing for the first unlock is mandatory, and then after that it gives you the freedom to select how you want to unlock and upgrade the wing further. Each part of the wing has different values assigned to it. So the first one, you have to, and then the rest of them, there's I think 4 that are 200 medical wing points to unlock, and a couple of 4s and a 5, and then 1,000. So, and you earn the points through running missions. There'll be main missions which will grant you a huge amount of medical wing points, and then there are going to be some side missions which allot you a lesser amount of points, but they're a lot easier. They're typically out in the open world, whether it's rescuing some hostages or taking down someone who's got a virus container or whatnot. So right now I'm just going through my inventory. I'm getting ready to go out on my next mission and trying to clear out some more spots for some new loot, because you get so much of it. I can't say it enough. I wouldn't spend money on any weapon. Occasionally I'll spend money on armor or an upgrade for a weapon, but you just get so many weapons that it just seems foolish to me to buy them. In any given mission, you'll probably pick up a dozen weapons, and some of them will be incremental boosts, and then some of them will be fairly substantial boosts. So it really doesn't make much sense to spend the amount of money that you're going to have to spend to get an incremental boost through a vendor, where you're probably going to get the same weapon in a drop from a mission. So that's that. We're just assigning our talent and our abilities right now that we have recently unlocked, and then we're going to get right back out into the world and head to the second mission. So hopefully you enjoy this. Hopefully you'll share it with your friends. Hopefully you'll subscribe. Maybe you'll drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. And other than that, we will see you in the next episode. So thank you so much.
You can't buy from over there.